and I will gladly provide you with information that I have.
What's your name?
She went all the way.
Dorothy Mackey, ma'am.
Dorothy Mackey? Okay,
I have her contact number. I'm willing to give,
okay.
with her permission, your phone
Sure.
number.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Dorothy, you gave a website. What was that website? What was it? CCHR?
.org.
CCHR.org.
Okay. And what was
And the hidden enemy is the documentary.
Okay.
But this website also has a great many video documentaries that you can purchase as to what is going on with youngsters of all age and the elderly, as far as how the mental health and the pharmaceutical companies that are paying off a great deal of these people, even in our Congress, and special advisors, they're getting lots of money from the pharmaceutical companies. This also impacts our Veteran Society as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Now, Joseph is going to be speaking how he would help facilitate this TI's task force unit as a security firm, because we know that you all are dealing with various types of crime. However, this is a crime too. But help support the cause so we can work in harmony together. And he will be, at this moment, donating some of his services to help stop this crime.
And before Joseph speak, can I speak? Because he's going to speak about how he's going to keep me safe.
Okay.
When she mentioned to you mentoring candidate, my family is a mentoring candidate. I'm not going to go all the way back to what happened with my mom and stuff. I'm going to start with me. In 1990, I had the SWAT team, CIA, FBI, and the police department surround my house. I taught my children at home. I really didn't have any friends. I had too many children. I had to take care of them. And they surrounded my house, and they were looking for someone else's child. And this kept going on. They were always looking for someone else's child. It did not even matter, even if I moved to Florida. They still surrounded my house looking for someone else's child. Okay, I was then in 2001, 2003, I was in Florida, and I was at work. And a lot of things started happening dealing with the police officer, Richard A. Harmon, police officer from Tavares in Florida. And like Gloria said, I really didn't know what was going on. They came to my job, arrested me, even handcuffed me in the middle of the floor at my job. And the job I had, we took in credit cards. And there were people who were stealing people's credit card numbers, which was me. And when the police came, you didn't see the police come and get them from their chair, put the handcuffs on them, and escort them out. They did it in a very mannerly way. But me stood me in the middle of the floor. Okay, from there, all of a sudden I had abused my son, which Richard A. Harmon, the police officer, had wrote up a paper. And then I had to go to court, and during this time, I think they CPS, but they call themselves some DCF or something. They different, but still CPS. They had me go see these psychiatrists. And the psychiatrists kept trying to fill me with medication. They did that here too. They tried to keep filling me with medication, telling me that I was depressed, but I was not depressed. I was being oppressed. Now, even all during this time and still up to today, these things are still happening to me. And I worked my way off of welfare not once but twice. Once with the Nation of Yahweh, and then again by myself, me and my children, with the help of Kenneth Maurice McNeil. But I worked my way off welfare. And this is what I thought that I was to do, to become independent. And then Florida was the second time. I had been off welfare maybe not even 2 months when all this stuff happened. And then, okay, I go to court and everything for my children. And the judge, the evidence they showed, what the judge said. The judge said that he was going to throw out the abuse case because the evidence was unfounded. He said, but I'm going to keep Miss Israel's children because she works and her children are out of control. At that time, my children were not out of control. But once these people got their hands on them, it's just too much. Hold on. It's still today. Me and my baby son, who's 18, he graduated last year. We sleep in a room smaller than this, on the floor. And I'm trying to and I'm disabled, which this happened in 3 years. I came to see Javonka, I had a meeting with Javonka 3 years ago. I could walk just fine. But they keep hitting me in my back with this energy. And when I go to the doctor, I'm deemed delusional. So now I'm on a walker, and I'm in this room, and I sit on the floor all day long because they have put me in what they call an economic program, which leaves me destitute. Now here I am. I have 8 children, and I can't even count how many grandchildren, probably 30 by now. But here I am raising my children. I have my own business, and I'm working. I'm teaching my children at home. I'm staying out of whatever business is going on. I had no idea that anybody could be this diabolically wicked. And then, they knock me down. I don't have anything. They take my children, everything I have, my books, everything. And my children got older. DCF let them go. And we started getting back together. And then they came in with paranormal stuff. It was as though my family at our house were in a paranormal movie. If I told you about it, you would even think I'm delusional. I mean, you can hear things running through our walls, and they were not rats, because rats are not that big. You can hear people run across our roof. Our refrigerator sound like it was a musical instrument. And then like I say, the police is always messing with us, and this time the police came, and let me tell you what happened to my son. I'm gonna tell you what I saw. I saw this ball of energy come out of my son's room and go straight up his anal. And he had on jeans. And when that happened, my son just straight went out of control. I mean, he's a tall little skinny thing. And all of a sudden he just on our back door. And we had a hole in the back door where you could see straight out. He started picking up many things at one time, like he was a superhero or something. And so my daughter called the police, and then 20 minutes later, she said, you guys are right around the corner. What's taking you so long? And that same police that came to our door when I stepped foot in Florida, the next morning came to our door. He had this thing in his hand. He pointed at my son, and my son went at ease, just like that. When I couldn't even hold him, my son felt like a bag of concrete. You ever picked up a bag of concrete? I have. And he felt like a bag of concrete. We could not control him. And that man came and pointed this thing. And at the time, like I said, I didn't know much. I thought it was something that you can turn on your car alarm with, because that's what it looked like. He pointed at my son. My son was going wild and crazy. All of a sudden, my son stood at ease. Like this. He stood like this at first with his hands behind his back for a hot second. Then he did this. Then he put his hand behind his back, and he walked again to the man and kept saying, go ahead, take me to jail. Go ahead, take me to jail.
Okay, so for the sake of time, I know you wanted to talk about your piece, but let me do this, and then we'll get to you, because I think that I have to be done by 12:30. So what I'm thinking, what happened. Before we get to you, I'll sort of summarize what we talked about, where he comes in. So I guess the issue that they've been talking about is that should a call be made to the police department? Can the police just take the report and so that, like you said,
Yes.
just to be able to have a paper trail, and that
Sure.
and rather than saying, okay, you're delusional, you're schizophrenic, you're whatever, but just take the report. And I get where he's saying he's coming in and being able to volunteer his time is, I've asked them, you all set up your own task force, right? And how remind me how you would be a part of this, but it would be a matter of maybe taking the information to the department, and then
That's correct.
yeah, I don't
Well,
know,
I would also
and I don't know
work
how
to-
it would
and
work, but
anything that you need, further information for you to study, take out time to study and see how you see the patterns, because we also provided Javonka some paperwork from one-page testimony from other targeted individuals all over the United States, and for you to see the pattern and anything you need from our community, questions, and ask, okay, this person, I don't know if they're mentally ill, but they saying some of the things that I have studied. And then we can work with you so these people can stop being hauled off to the mental hospital. That's the first level until we can establish a paper trail and bring forth a statistic report and evidence so they can't keep denying that this is happening. And the thing is, what's happening with this city, this is the very first time over 5 decades that anyone was able to get to this level.
All right, you mean like sit down and talk?
Not just talk, but want to support.
Okay. Well, I've been listening very carefully, and Joseph, you had something you wanted to relay. I only have a little bit of time left, Javonka, so
Yeah, I
maybe
got
give you a
time.
second to speak.
Sure. I won't take too long here. But basically, I runs and operate a security firm, and I have armed security officer that I sends out to take care of halls, malls, the community centers, parking lots. Well, my goal to initiate for the TI community is 3 things: for observation, communication, and document.
Sorry.
Things are actually happening as it's been
Good turn on.
approached
I'm so sorry.
told to me
What's going on?
to ask. Whenever I get a phone call or late at night, early in the morning, I respond to it to see what is actually going on. And so to help them out, I told them sometime I can do some courtesy patrol, not to come around and give helping and document everything, and to present it to the police department for evaluations. Now to set up a task force for them, we are willing to work with the police department to get some guidelines from them to help out the TI community here. Now, I do have some people right now who is willing to volunteer some of their time. But as for me, I'm always available as they know that they can give me a phone call anytime. And wherever I'm at, I always get a relief before I leave that actual post. And then I go and see what the problem is. And it has been various times when I would show up for Amy Anderson to where they literally had her as I had to just talk to them on the side to let them know that no, she's okay, she's fine. Yeah, these are things that's actually happening to them like once before they grabbed her and up in the hospital and
Once it's
and
4 years
took
ago
her
when I
all
first
the way
was attacked.
to the Fremont.
They put her on my medical records. I'm mentally ill,
right,
and I'm having
they
to
labeled her
Mine
get that
too.
off of there.
5150. So they took off to the Fremont institution, which had to go over there and talk to people, which they released her in my custody
72
in
hours.
72 hours.
But I wasn't a danger to myself.
Right.
None of that.
Or others.
Just
Oh,
because
no.
I told them
So-
I was a targeted individual.
Yeah,
I was stalked by those attackers that I shared the information, so you'll be able to look, investigate
Yeah.
who they are, because it's sad. They sitting on computers and doing these things to people, and they're acting like they have a normal life. These are musicians, but they are, yes, and these are rock band musicians. They connected up with this Illuminati stuff, but they also are participating in these COVID operations.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joseph.
Yeah.
Can I mention something? First of all, in addition to taking victims' reports, hopefully we can get to that place where when targeted individuals do report this crime, that a report will be taken. But we would also like for them to know that we exist, that they're not alone. Because what happens is when a person is not aware of what's happening to them, as some of us have described today, it's a really, really critical moment in a target's life where they can actually commit suicide. And
Yes.
in fact, some have. Because they couldn't explain this. And anyone that they went to for help, they were turned
Yes.
away, and they were told that they were delusional, as was said here. And so we really would not only like to protect their safety, but their mental health as well. So we would like for them to know that we exist. And there are, as Derek Robinson said, thousands of people that are part of his organization. And there are support groups out there for targeted individuals. And we do have conference calls where we talk on the phone, daily. Some people have daily calls, some have weekly. So we would like them to know that they're
We
not
have a support
alone.
system.
Yes, we
That's
would like them
interesting.
to know.
I know somebody that individually is going through this without.
You do?
Yeah. she
Yeah,
calls me all the
everybody
time.
knows
Okay,
somebody.
let's hear what he has
She calls
to
me all
say.
the time.
I don't know.
Maybe she would benefit from being able to.
Yes.
And we would very much appreciate
So
that.
how is there a website or a?
Derek Robinson can give you his if you like.
You can take my number too.
Amy, what's
Is
your?
there from Richmond?
Yeah.
Okay, good, because that 510-253-7940.
Okay.
And I would like to provide them with some literature, some information. They have provide coping mechanisms so that we can not get mixed up in the shuffle of mental ills, so that we can establish a statistic report.
Sure.
Well, if I may, this is Dorothy Mackey again, and these are three very important points. I know everything seems to be very important. There's a drug out there called scopolamine. So scopolamine, being suicided, and the other is, do you guys have a cable access network available within your city? Scopolamine is it's actually from Colombia, and it's actually a plant that was brought in by the CIA. Dr. Mengele had it in Germany. But this is something that causes the eyes of a person to be bulbous. They take commands. They have no knowledge of what they're doing. Mm-hmm. It has an amnesiac quality. There's a documentary out there called The Most Dangerous Drug in the World. And a toxicology professor said that it's a voodoo drug. It virtually takes over the person's brain, and the person, looking as if they're totally awake and articulate and talking, will not only clear out their bank accounts, they can go on a shooting rampage and have no knowledge because somebody else has given them guidance. So this is a big issue that has been in this country for many years, and it was being used in the military as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dorothy. So why don't we listen to what Captain Gagan has to say? Because we only have about 10 minutes.
Yes.
And then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Well, 5 minutes, and then I think we should wrap it up.
Amy, I'd like to.
Okay. Go ahead, Miriam. You got a few minutes because we got to respect Javonka, and I'm sorry for having you come on at the last minute. But go ahead, Miriam, introduce yourself.
Okay, and I have this article to help explain what is a targeted individual, what is the targeted individual program. It's on Hub Pages, HUBPAGES. In summary,
How long does it take? Because we got to speed up.
Yeah, because we have the definition. We know what it is. I believe Captain Gagan understands now. So,
I wanted my definition.
Okay.
Her definition.
Targeted individuals are well-skilled people who are criminally not being allowed to earn income when and if they are job mobbed. Additionally, they are constant victims of legal abuse syndrome. They are victims of COINTELPRO type crimes, lying, spirit slander campaigns, stalking, and are targeted for destruction via eugenic programming. The targeted individual program is an unregulated, secret, slow-kill assassination program. The targeted individual program is known as the TI program, and it is primarily a eugenic program where innocent and healthy people are criminally, maliciously, and medically experimented on without consent. A group of criminally insane eugenicists control these criminal experiments via laboratory programming and tracking. The eugenic part of the TI program includes the criminal implantation of deadly devices, receptors, mind control technologies, and or pathogens in unsuspecting people. Thereafter, the eugenicists laboratory programming criminal researchers monitor and track the induced torture and criminal ramifications associated with their criminal implantation.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm having to intervene because we have just a few minutes. I want to establish something during this meeting. One of the things I want to establish is what exactly the police department is going to do for the target individuals. If, for instance, someone is under attack, what is the procedure going to be for that target individual?
Well, I first of all want to say that in listening to the testimonials and experiences that people are giving to me, I really see the role that law enforcement can play to reassure people that they are safe and that they are protected from any type of criminal abuse or fear or intimidation. Several times throughout this, I kind of appreciated people being honest that it's somewhat undetectable and very difficult to prove, and that does limit law enforcement's ability. Our entire industry is predicated on evidence and moving forward with clues, witness testimony, victim testimony, and that does not mean that there's nothing we can do. In fact, it's quite the opposite. There's a lot we can do.
Yes.
By showing concern and awareness, by showing willingness to participate in a task force to reassure people that they are safe and that they have every right to be free of any type of hostility or abuse is something that I will commit myself and the department to.
Thank you.
We can document, I'm sorry that feels like a breakthrough, because that's actually the truth for everybody.
It is.
Okay.
It is. This meeting is a breakthrough.
Okay. Well, I also see we're willing to document people's concerns in incident reports that will be held at the police department by their name and location. Usually jurisdiction, the location of occurrence is what determines that. So if people are from other cities or other parts of the country, it's much more difficult for me in the Richmond Police Department to write a police report or an incident report. But if people are Richmond residents, we are able. Yeah, we are able.
Okay. What I want to know is, can we have a meeting?
If I am here from Oakland and I'm victimized here, you guys would not take a police report?
No. I'm sorry if that's how you.
This happened before.
Okay, Mark.
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
But somebody's in Pennsylvania. She mentioned she'll be here next week. Then.
Right.
I just can't have the Richmond Police Department be the hub of every incident.
Yes, but let me share something with you how we plan and move forward.
Okay.
We plan at some time after we get things established for you to set up a meeting and talk to other police departments so that we can create some type of umbrella for other people in their other community so that they won't dismiss this so that they can get some help in their community.
And the reason I would be willing to do that is it's every police department's job to actually build lines of communication and service and people not create frustration and alienation.
Yeah,
so
that's what we want. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, Captain, can I ask one more question?
You just did.
Okay.
Yeah, I know, huh? That's a good one. It's old, but it's good.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay, what department, what agency, if someone is under attack, where do they call?
Well, it depends on
If they
where.
want to file a report, that is.
If they want to file a report.
Sure. I would say that the best number to call for help with this type of situation would be our non-emergency number. If you're in Richmond, it's 233-1214, and that's in the 510 area code.
And would you set that up where these individuals have some type of knowledge so they won't think they mentally ill? Can we work on that part?
That's going to be a big process. We have 350 employees, and many people have. I mean, I would be making a mistake sitting here in this chair right this second to promise that everybody will automatically get it right away.
Oh, we already know that.
I think what we're trying to do is change the culture of law enforcement.
Right,
Which takes
that's
time.
right.
Yes.
I saw that picture in the library of the chief.
Yeah, it's very progressive, very understanding. I'm sorry, the word I would choose to use is the word stigma when you talk about being labeled as delusional or something like that. That's stigmatizing and not productive, and we're really trying to avoid that.
Right.
So I'm careful not to make a huge promise that in 24 hours or in 48 hours.
No. It's going to be a process, but we'll work on that. And Derek, I will get back to you with that information.
Okay. And another thing I will do is refer some people. I have 2 people that I'm thinking of that I've been interacting with for years that may benefit from knowing there's other people who have similar experiences, and that you mentioned the isolation or the suicidal. Maybe that would be a huge benefit. So there's some promises I will make from the police department, but there's also some goodwill that's probably going to come out of this meeting for other people to get some help.
Yes.
And I would like to say that once victims see that law enforcement, this is beautiful that you're willing to do this. We really appreciate it. Once they see that you guys are working with the victims, I guarantee more people will come forward, because victims are very afraid to come forward because they're afraid of being labeled paranoid, delusional, and being hauled off. So I can't thank you enough.
You're welcome.
I can't thank you enough.
Okay,
Javonka.
thank you for your time, and we're going to end this meeting.